Chapter 81, Hiatus. What do you want to do now, Broly? Kale and Broly were just finishing up their training as they wiped the sweat off their bodies. Not too sure. Broly kept up his vigilance throughout the whole training session, but it turned out to be for naught. He trusted his instinct that has helped him numerous times over the dangerous years, yet it seemed as if the peace affected him more than he thought. Finally, you guys are done. Let's go out and have some fun. Chi-Lai was an exuberant bundle of joy who just wanted to get out of this cramped space, waiting for them to finish. She snatched the book she was reading and they all headed towards the bathroom to shower. Ah, I forgot it. That ear thing? Yeah, I remember you going inside the training facility with it. You really never leave without it, huh? You two girls go on ahead. I'll catch up quickly. They nodded their heads and retreated inside the house. Broly walked down the paved road a few meters before arriving at the training grounds once again. Opening the door, he scanned his vision across the room once more. After finding nothing again, he shook his head at his silliness. Going over to the rack where he left his green ear that he usually wears around his waist, he thought that the rack looked a little peculiar. He stared at the rack for a couple of seconds. The rack didn't move at all. Broly didn't know what to expect from the rack staring at it like that. He grabbed his ear, but when he pulled, it didn't budge. Thinking it got stuck, he tried to look at it from a different angle to pull it from. That was when pink goo like bubble gum stretched out from the rack and latched onto his body. His eyes widened in surprise before trying to pull the sticky substance from his arm. It just wouldn't get away from him, sticking to him, like glue on a mousetrap catching its prey. He didn't so much as to hesitate and turned Super Saiyan. Being a famed legendary Super Saiyan, when he transformed, his figure buffed up more than his original big size. His hair turned yellow, while his eyes' pupils disappeared, turning completely white. Despite this, he maintained more or less control and desperately tried to pull himself out of this sticky situation. But it was like the rack, instead of cowering, waited for this moment. The entire rack turned pink, and in no time encased Broly in an impromptu sphere. Realizing the severity of the situation, he pulled even stronger, gaining some unknown force. Eventually, he was able to pull himself out of the initial grab, but it was too late. His entire body was already covered in the sphere with only one gap remaining for him to see through. I would tell myself I told you. Those were his last words before the pink sphere closed in and created a ball. It was as if Broly disappeared, melted from the physical space that he occupied. The sphere turned into a tightly formed ball. The ball continuously morphed and jutted up like it was being stretched from the inside. The ball glowed a little before it started to take form. Instead of Broly, the pink alien took his form, exposing his torso and up with pure muscle with plain training clothes cover his legs. Accompanying his waist was the precious ear Broly dotted on. It looked exactly like it did before, like it wasn't absorbed at all. That feels nice. Bu was admiring his new powers and even started to flex his muscles all over the place. He was able to go to the house and look for an opportunity there, but who knew they would come to him? They fell into his lap and no doubt he would capitalize on it. He looked at the muscles adorning his body and mused. They were merely for decoration, as his body was naturally mushy with or without muscles. Thankfully, he only took the good powers and not the simple mind that Broly had. Broly, you good in there? We are waiting out here. What's taking so long? He heard what he came to know as Chi-Lai from outside the facility. It seemed as if she was about to come in. No matter. She was so weak that killing her or absorbing her was inconsequential. No, I want to taste your meal. His red eyes glinted before he sneaked through the back by melting once more. Chi-Lai opened the door to the training grounds and looked around. She couldn't have missed him even if he hid with that big body. So where was he? Broly? What the hell are you? A rabid animal? Yamoshi was fighting against a creature that relied on pure instinct. This, although couldn't really be called a transformation, definitely proved to get the upper hand in the exchange. On his road to further improving Super Ape, he stumbled upon this ape variant. This variant contains not only the slick and figure and power of a Super Ape, but tapped into the unbridled rage that was hidden within. When using the ape transformation, it was all about staying calm. In any situation, one had to stay calm in order for the transformation to stay active. It was obviously good to be calm and collected in a fight, but sometimes rage was what you needed in some situations. Unlocking this variant, he was able to increase his power several-fold without burdening his body like Kaioken, just at the cost of his rationality. A wide swing descending on Yamoshi from his left. He put both of his arms to block, and as Goku's forearm connected with his defense, he felt like his arms broke from the sheer weight that was carried from that attack. He is pushed back a couple of meters again. The enraged Goku didn't relent and chased him another leap. Yamoshi felt it like he was fighting an actual ape. Overwhelming, indomitable, fierce. He couldn't last any longer, so he had to at least snap Goku off his reverie, or else he'll be crushed under those arms. Wild Cannon, shooting an energy blast at Goku. The latter turned his head instantly after hearing the noise. Pounding his chest and screaming, The waves emitting just from that alone negated the blast. This is my last chance. Now or nothing. Yamoshi took a deep breath and inflated his lungs. He then ejected all that air from his mouth in front of him. His ultimate move was to release gas.